Okay. And now I want to send it over to my colleague, Ben.
All right, thank you, you two. Um, they are much more eloquent in their speaking than I am, so be patient with me. So we are going to get into some application specifics. Now we're really digging into the weeds now. So I will ask for a thumbs up. Have you read the updated guidelines? Great, awesome. We do update them every time a new program comes up. It's important that you stay up to date on those and read because there may be some changes that happen from deadline to deadline. A good way to keep on top of that information and when the guidelines comes out is to sign up for the EAC newsletter on the website itself. They will make sure to announce that. Those guidelines, of course, talk about eligibility, the grant program intentions, the application specifics, budget information, supporting material, assessment criteria, and the process. So all of what is eligible as an expense, whether it be in stream one, stream two, stream three, that stuff will be in the guidelines as well. When it comes to your supporting material, what should you include? There are some directions that are within there as well, but those are all kind of within that document on our website. So please have a read through it. I will get into some of this as well as we go along. So when you open an application, you will have a general section. So this is your project title, your short project description, project start and end date, grant amount requested. Your project title. A lot of people want to immediately go straight to the artistic side of this. I want to encourage you, it's really important in these sections, both the project title and the project short project description, just to be really direct. And like if I'm making an album, I'm not going to, my project title isn't going to be called um, Into the Blue or Looking Through Windows. It's going to be, my project title is going to be 10 track um, full length album. Do you know what I mean? And I want to kind of give you that recommendation so that it's really easy for um, the assessors to know and find that clear description of what your project is. Project start and end date. Your project start date cannot be before the deadline. It can be directly after. It can be the day after. That's no problem, but not before. It will be ineligible. And so your end date, don't worry too much. We get a lot of questions. Is it too long? Is it this? Maybe I don't know what the end date is. It's okay because we do allow amendments to happen to your project following a successful application. Grant amount requested, super important. Let us know how much money you want us to give you. Okay, the next tab that you're going to have in your application is the artist background. All of this is pulled from your artist profile. So as Kina uh, so uh, so well put and shared with you, to be able to update your profile means that this is what's going to come in here. There are things in that profile that are important to speak to some of the criteria that are a part of our assessment. Your resume, your artist statement, some of your online presence as well. So those are things that the assessors are seeing, and they're looking for what your experience has been, what kind of projects have you been involved with in the past, and what are you about? Do you have a purpose to your art? And so I want to encourage you to go to EAC's resources as well if you need help being able to create an artistic resume. There's a really great video that's in there that explains kind of what that is and what we're looking for. Cool. I also recommend that like if you haven't updated your profile in a long time, just go in and check and see if all of those things apply still, because it is important to this specific project right now. So just make sure it's up to date. Okay, project details. These include the details of your primary discipline, your artistic discipline, and in some cases, your secondary discipline. You don't have to have a secondary discipline, but you get to self-determine, as Yetunde mentioned earlier, what is your artistic discipline. And I want to remind you that this is not necessarily you as an artist, but this is the discipline of the project itself. If the application is part of a collective, so a collective is really when you have that shared artistic impression on a certain project, you have equal share in the project, that is a collective. We're going to talk about collaborators in 1 second and the kind of the difference between the two, because a lot of people get confused with what those are. If the project involves a mentor, an elder, a knowledge keeper, these apply directly to stream 2 and 3. Stream 1 does not have that option. But you want to include some of the information about those people, because when assessors are starting to look at the artistic merit of a project, they're also looking at the artistic merit of the people that you're doing your project with. And the last one will be providing names and roles of any additional collaborators. And what is a collaborator? A collaborator is somebody that you are working with alongside of this project. Does not have an equal share in the artistic vision, but there are some, like the way I like to say it to a lot of people is that if you're contracting them and they don't have an artistic vision in that way, they are a collaborator. And so you might be doing a theater production and you need a videographer, that is a collaborator. If you need a graphic designer, that is a collaborator. If you have musicians that are part of your event, that is a collaborator. So if there's any clarification needed, that's something we can definitely talk about when you book your draft application assistance. So project description. This section asks for the clear goals of your project. It's one thing as an artist to really over language this section. Be really simplistic. Name them in point form first. What are the goals of this specific project? Write them in point form and go from there. Because if you get that really clear messaging across right away, then you can expand on that if you need to. But make sure that you write them down in point form first. The types of activities in relation to your goal. Okay, so this is basically what is the activities that you are partaking in? Is it rehearsals for something? Is it gathering materials? Is it writing? Whatever those activities are, all those steps that you take as an artist, no matter what discipline, to prepare for this project and prepare for the final presentation. Those are what you want to put in here. They should line up with those goals. They should help achieve those goals. It's the things that you are doing to reach those goals. The desired impact of the project on the work of the individual or collective. It's a very important one because I think we'll get into this in a second, but the impact, this is something you really have to do some self-reflection. Sometimes we get artists that this is their biggest work yet, this is their biggest project that they've ever done. This would be a next step in their career. Sometimes this would be what is the impact on the art form? Is this pushing the boundaries of your specific discipline? Is this something that you see in Edmonton? Is this something that is new territory? And then we have, of course, the project budget. Stream 1 does not have a project budget, is great, but Stream 2 and 3 are going to need to talk about what you're using the money for. I want to encourage you in that section within the project description. Underneath, there is an upload option for budget support materials. As much as you can, as much as you are able to, please upload some quotes. They don't have to be invoices, they can be quotes. They can be estimates. They can be a letter from some of your collaborators. But what helps to kind of assess that feasibility side of your project is being able to show that you've thought this through and these numbers are accurate as best as to your ability. All right. So the budget is used by assessors to understand if your project plan is reasonable. I love the hearts. Is reasonable, and if the outline costs are within the scope of the current industry standards. We want to make sure that we pay artists here in Edmonton. Artists deserve to get paid, and we want to make sure that our artists are paying artists within our city. So we want to make sure that you're not underpaying people that are doing great work on your project. And if sometimes we get people who are like, my friend is doing this and he wants to do it for a low cost. Great, write a letter in. Get your friend to write a letter in and say, I agree to these costs. This is something that I offered, because I think if you don't have that in there, then it's going to look like you're just underpaying somebody. So that's an important piece to be able to communicate. We know that not all art you can always pay everybody all the time or whatever it is, but we want artists to get paid. Please note that a budget and detailed timeline are not required for Stream 1 and will not be assessed if submitted. So do not upload in your supporting material a budget. We just want to give you $5,000 and see your project come to life. Stream 2 and 3 require a budget and detailed timeline, and all budget information must be entered directly into the online form. Use the notes section of each line to identify or explain each revenue and expense. If your rates are coming from a specific provincial arts organization, like if there's or national arts organization, they have a standard fee schedule that you are reaching, it's important to put those into those notes. It's important to explain anything that needs to be within those notes, within that budget line itself. If you can, it's easier to kind of it's easier for the assessors to assess if you do not group a bunch of things into one budget line. If you can, I'm not saying if you're an artist and you need a painter and you have 1,800 supplies you need to get, don't put each one on a budget line, but try not to make things ambiguous. Be really specific with your budget. And it's important to remember that your budget must balance. So make sure that your budget ends up at zero. Supporting materials. Supporting materials are required. Why? Because it's really hard to see what you're doing if we don't know what you're doing and you don't show us. So this can include still images, video, audio, PDF documents, and up to 5 web links. I'm really going to encourage each one of you to get creative with your supporting material. There's so many different ways to catch the attention of assessors. You don't have to have the most amazing video to show what you're doing. It can be on a cell phone. It can be something that just shows and gives the assessors an idea of what is going to be happening within this project. The more supporting materials that you can provide that relate to this specific project, the better. It allows the assessors to catch your vision. Yeah, great. And when you do upload those things, you'll have a title and you'll have a description. Use those two things to speak directly to the assessors. What do you want them to see in this supporting material? Okay, super important, because sometimes you might think that, oh, they're going to catch my attention with this video, but they may miss the important part that you are talking about. So make sure that you use those titles and descriptions to really speak to the assessor. Do not duplicate materials found elsewhere in the application. In other words, if you have something in your budget, don't put it in this section again. The materials may give context to existing work, its future, and/or overall vision. And due to privacy and information tracking concerns for the assessors, it is encouraged that applicants provide direct links that are publicly accessible. So no links that need sign-in or subscription required to gain access. Unfortunately, things like Spotify, Instagram, especially, and I'm going to say this with a bit of an emphasis, but Google Drive links. Those ones are also, we get a lot of those, and then we have to send them back, and then you have to take them out and find different ways. So I want to just say that with a bit of emphasis. Hey, guess what? The deadline is still March 2nd, 2026 at 11:59 a.m., not midnight, but noon, at noon.